Good, very nice. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita Study Circle. And we are in 171st session of the Bhagavad Gita Study Circle. We have been discussing chapter number 17. We're almost in the fag end of the chapter now. We are going to have the last session on chapter 17 today, the divisions of faith. Very interesting chapter. In fact, one of the most important chapter for all the sadhakas because it is talking about faith, right? So we have Achutanji joining us on StreamYard. We also have Hina Mataji. We also have Dev and also I have Divik joining us on StreamYard. Thank you so much for joining. And we also have some devotees joining on YouTube. So those who are listening on YouTube, we can say Hare Krishna. So before we begin the prayers, as usual, let us chant the pranam mantras that will be displayed on the screen. So kindly join your palms and chant along with me the pranam mantras. Let's dedicate this session to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, and my beloved spiritual master. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita Study Circle. So, in the last session, I think we had discussed until verse number 22, right? So, that verse number 22 was Adeshakale Yaddanam apatrebhyashadiyate asatkritam avagnatam tattamasam udaradam. So, actually, in the previous session, we had discussed about charity, dana, and dana in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. How a sattvic person gives charity to a very right person in the right time, right place, and right circumstances without any expectations. That is charity in the mode of goodness. And there are people who do charity, but they actually ask or they expect something in return. So that is charity in the mode of passion. They have certain expectation or they have certain they don't give it so easily. They always say something and then give, right? That is rajasic charity, expectations. And tamasic charity is you really don't want to give, but out of some social pressure you want to give, but while giving also you disturb that person. You hurt that person. And after hurting that person, you want to give charity. You're good for nothing, useless, you're a beggar, you take this money and get lost from here. This kind of charity is not charity, it's a tamasic charity. So, we have discussed very elaborately about the Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic charity in our previous sessions, right? So, in this session today, now Krishna is going to explain something which is very important. Now, he has spoken about the four yajna, dana, tapas, right? And austerity. Everything he's been talking about. So, ahara, yajna, dana, tapas. These four things are very integral aspects of sadhana. See, we are all human beings, right? And as human beings, we have to do these four things so that we can elevate ourselves spiritually. Ahara is important. What type of ahara? Satvika ahara. Right? Krishna is talking about Satvik ahara, Satvik yagna, Satvik tapas, and Satvik dana. So all these things Krishna has explained that how sadhaka can perform sadhana in a sattvic way. So clear distinctions have been given. So divisions of faith. So faith is also explained that how it is sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Now Krishna is talking about how it is so important to chant the holy names, to chant the Vedic hymns, because it is not just your effort alone which brings you success, but there is an intervention that is required from the Lord for our success. Very important. This is very important. So the whole chapter is actually discussing about spiritual sadhana. Now, so far, Krishna has explained about how, as an individual, we can perform sadhana. So, individual sadhana is explained. But now Krishna is explaining that it is not just about your own efforts and sadhana, but there is an intervention that is required. And that intervention of God is easily possible when you chant the holy names or chant the Vedic hymns, when you seek the blessings of the Lord. Then that sadhana has certain meaning. Otherwise, there is no meaning to our own sadhana, individual sadhana. Many people do, but without the surrender to God. When we surrender to God, then our sadhana is complete and fruitful. Right? So, with this, Achyutanji, you can unmute yourself. Let's chant the first verse for today, verse number 23. So, Krishna is talking about one very important thing, and that is about chanting. Om Tat Sat Iti Nirdesho
ॐ तत्सत् इति निर्देशो
Brahmanastrividha Smritaha
ब्रह्मणस्त्रिविद विदिध स्मृतः
ब्राह्मणास्तेन वेदाश्च
ब्राह्मणास्तेन वेदाश्च
यज्ञाश्च विहिताः पुरा.
यज्ञाश्च विहिता पुरा
Let's chant this once again. Om Tat Sat Iti Nirdesho
ॐ तत्सत् इति निर्देशो
Brahmanast Trivida Smritaha
ब्रह्मणस्त्रिविधा स्मृतः
Brahmanasna Tena Vedascha
ब्राह्मणास्तेन वेदाश्च
Yagnascha Vihita Pura.
यज्ञाश्च विहिता पुरा.
Wonderful. Please read the translation.
From the beginning of creation, the three words Om Tat Sat were used to indicate the supreme absolute truth. These three symbolic representations were used by Brahmanas while chanting the hymns of Vedas and during the sacrifices for the satisfaction of the supreme Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. So, this is a very interesting thing that we should know. So, Krishna is talking about Om Tat Sat. Even the most nectar of the nectar, that is Srimad Bhagavatam, begins with the words Om Tat Sat, right? And it's very interesting to know about this Om Tat Sat. Now, all these are, in one sense, the name of Krishna. Om Tat Sat actually represents the three names of Krishna. Om Tat Sat. Now, there are all these great sages and wise people in the past who have accepted that Om Tat Sat is actually the names of God. Now, these three words are actually Vedic hymns. Om iti etat brahmana nedishtam. Prabhupada explains Om iti etat brahmana nedishtam means Om is also Brahman. It is also God. It is Nedishtam Nama. Om iti etat brahmano nedishtam nama indicates that's the first goal of human life. First goal. Then tatvam asi. Chandogya Upanishad says it. Tatvam asi. Tat means that. Indicates the second goal. We will explain, understand more about it. And sad or sat, that means which is Sat eva saumya. Chandogya Upanishad again says indicates the third goal. Now combined together, Om Tat Sat actually represents God. Very important. Now, what is this Om? What is this Om Tat Sat? All these things we need to understand. Now, Om means the protector. You can also see that all the Vedic hymns All the Vedic mantras begin with the name Om, Omkara, Pranava Omkara, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Ganganapataye Namaha. Even any devatas also, if any mantras are there, it all begins with Om because Om is a Pranava mantra and it's a Vedic mantra. It represents God. Everything begins with God and He is a protector. It comes from three syllables. Now, before also we had discussed that Om has three syllables. A, U, Ma. That's how Om. It's an Om. So, A, U, Ma. This represents three states of existence. What are the three states of existence? The waking state, the dreaming state, and the sleeping state, respectively. Okay, so waking state, Jagrita Avastha. Jagrita Avastha, Swapna Avastha, and Shishupti or Turiya also it is called. So, Swapna Avastha, it is waking state, Jagrita Avastha, and sleeping state, that is, we are in deep sleep. So, Krishna consciousness is the basis of these three states, all these different avasthas that we have, the three existence that we have, waking state, the dreaming state, and the deep sleep, is all resting on the consciousness, and that consciousness is purified. When purified is Krishna consciousness. That means all these three states are resting on Krishna. So when you actually come out of these, when you actually go deeper into these, understand these three states, you get to know that Krishna is the basis, the foundation of all these things. If you see three words are there, ma. So, if you have to say, you have to open your mouth. Ma, if you have to say, you have to close or touch the lips, right? Close the mouth. So, the opening and closing, if we have to name anything in this world, we need to open and close our mouth. So, in other way, it is actually depicting that the whole world, the creation, is the opening and closing from the Lord. And who is there in between, which is the modification in between that happens. So, what is that modification? There is creation and the maintenance that happens of the world and then the destruction. So, who is the modification? So, actually, this manifested world is represented by who. So, a creation, U is the manifested world and Ma is the destruction of this world. So Om has a direct representation. It's a direct representation of the law that we have to understand. Now, similarly, there is Tat. Tat means what? That. Tat means thatness. We likeness, mindfulness. Tat means thatness, that. Now, what is that? That which cannot be seen, that which cannot be heard, that which cannot be touched, that which is beyond the perception of the Lord is called Tat or that. So that which is beyond the perception of our senses is called Tat. Tat means that. So whenever we say that, it actually implies that there is a distance. Oh, that. When we say, oh, that is there, that means what? It implies distance between you and that particular object or a thing, right? So that means what? For those who are materialistic people, right? Lord, although very close, appears to be very distant. Those whose minds are impure, that Lord is very far away. But for devotees, the very same Lord is very close. That becomes this, not that, but for devotees, it becomes this. So, for pure minds, God is very close by. So, Om Tat Sat. Sat means what? Now, at the time of creation, uh, no, before that, Sat means ultimate truth. Truth that is absolute, which does not change at all. It also means existence which is completely absolute, no destruction, always existing. Now, God alone in this whole creation is always existing. He is Sat, is supreme Sat actually. Now, matter is illusory. Even in our case, because we are amshas of the Lord, that even when we try to characterize or express the characteristics of the soul, what do we say? It is Sat Chit Ananda, right? What do we say? Soul is also, Atma is also Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Why? Because the Atma is Sat. It is truth. It is unchanging truth. But what is changing? This body. This body is constantly changing. Matter is illusory. Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tata dehantara prapti dhirastatra namuyati. Constantly the body is changing. It is illusory. Why it is called illusory? Because we are identifying with the body, which is so illusory. Our identity is false identity. So, but our true identity is what? Sat. It is Sat, Chit, Ananda. So we have to understand that. Very important. Now, at the time of creation of this material world, we all know that how Mahavishnu expands into Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and in Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, in each universe, he is actually expanding himself, and from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, there is that beautiful uh, a lotus that comes out and Brahma comes out of it, right? So at the time of creation, Brahma, when he comes out, he's all bewildered. He's all alone. He's looking, what do I do here? Then he seeks the blessings of the Lord. And then when he seeks the blessings of the Lord, and especially when he wanted to create Yagna Dana Tapa, he created three things: Brahmanas, Vedas, and Yagna. When he wanted to create these special things in this universe, he prayed to the Lord by chanting Om Tat Sat. So Brahma actually begins his creation, the secondary creation, by seeking the blessings of the Lord, and he chants Om Tat Sat. So Brahmaji, he gets the power to create. He gets the knowledge to create when he chants this Om Tat Sat. Now, Om Tat Sat is what we all follow in the disciplic succession. Each one of us, we follow this Om Tat Sat because it represents God, because that's a convention that is been given to us by the very first person, that is Brahmaji. Just like when a person who actually invented the telephone, when somebody lifts the telephone, we all say hello. Why? Because the inventor, it was his convention. When he actually started this telephone, invented this telephone, and when he spoke, he created this convention of saying hello. Right? So similarly, Brahmaji, who is the creator of this material universe, he created this convention of saying Om Tat Sat. Right? So now, what are the special things about these three things? What is the special thing? Brahmana, Veda, and Yagna. These three are very, 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 very special. See, in this creation, without Brahmanas, without Vedas, without Yagna, there will be chaos. So Brahmaji, when he wanted to create this special thing, he actually took the blessings, he sought the blessings of Krishna. Om Tat Sat. Veda. What is Veda? Veda is manual for right living. Right? We all want to live a very dharmic life. We all want to lead a very dharmic life. So the codes of dharma are given in the Veda. So all the secrets for happiness and efficient living is given in this Vedas. If you want to live very efficiently in this world, you want to live very happily in this world, you refer to Vedas. So when you have Vedas, the Vedic knowledge, then your secrets will help you to lead a very happy life. Right? So Veda is very important. Veda means knowledge, and no knowledge means there is no happiness. So for happiness, the key factor is knowledge, and that is Veda. The second is yagna. Now, yagna means what? Putting into practice the Vedic knowledge is called yagna. See, just acquiring knowledge is not important. You need to put it into practice. Knowledge, when applied, that becomes yagna. So, any activity done as a service to the Lord, that is called yagna. Yagna means, oh my Lord, you are a yagna purusha. You are everything. When you have that attitude that Krishna is the one who gives me everything, all the intelligence, all the buddhi, all that resources, everything that I'm doing, all the action that I'm performing, it is because of you, my Lord. When we have that spirit that everything is done by the Lord, and I'm just with devotion offering it back to the Lord, and with cooperation offering it back to the Lord, then it is called yagna. Why we have to do yajna? Why we have to please the Lord? Because when we perform everything in this attitude, that Lord, everything belongs to you, then it purifies my mind. Why it purifies my mind? Otherwise, I'll become egoistic that I'm doing, right? We all have that attitude of, oh yes, I did this, I did that. Oh, I'm such a big person, this person, that person. But we forget that our own very existence is given to us by the Lord. We are able to breathe because of the Lord. We are able to see because of the Lord. We are able to speak because of the Lord. We are able to hear because of the Lord. We are able to comprehend things is because of the Lord. Without Him, what can we do? So when you think that you are doing, then mind becomes impure because ego will come into picture. But when we actually perform everything as yagna, oh my Lord, everything belongs to you. So you accept everything. All actions, the karma phala, you accept it. When you offer that way with this mood, then our mind becomes purified from ego. So yagna has to be performed. It's very important. So it purifies the mind, and in the process, it actually gives us material benefits, material wealth also. And also, you are in turn doing welfare to others. See how wonderful it is. Yagna, when you perform, yagna means to please the Lord, activities that please the Lord. You're satisfying the Lord, and as a result, you also get material wealth. You don't want it, you are not doing it for material wealth, but you will get it as a byproduct. And you're also acquiring punya because when you perform yajna, there is so much benefit that you're doing to the society, to the environment also. Because everything is in harmony. You are in harmony with the nature, you are in harmony with the Lord when you're performing yajna. Correct? So you're doing welfare to the others also when you perform yajna. So important it is. So when we sacrifice, when somebody sacrifices oneself for the pleasure of others and for the pleasure of the Lord, then that is the right path. That is the dharmic path. So there is Veda, there is Yagna, correct? The right action. And then there is a person who actually understands the knowledge and applies that knowledge. Such a person is called Brahmana. Brahmana is not by jati. Please understand. Not by birth. Brahmana is by guna. One who understands the Brahman is called Brahmana. These days, now people have this problem, the caste problem, right? SC, ST, this and that. People have suffered so much in India because of the caste systems. Somebody is born in a SC, ST family, a very low grade family, but if he understands Brahman, if he has understood and realized Brahman, then he is a Brahmana. Brahma janati iti brahmana. One who understood the Brahman is called Brahmana. A evolved person is called Brahmana. Not one who is exploiting everything from the world is a Brahmana. Right? A Brahmana is one who is very evolved. He is very sensitive to things. So Krishna, in order to maintain balance in this world, what it does? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. He says, right? Why does he say that? Paritranaya sadhunam. Who are these sadhus? Are brahmanas. He's coming to protect these brahmanas. Why? Because they follow his order, the Vedas, and they apply that knowledge. So that's why Krishna, time and again, when there is some imbalance, he comes to protect these brahmanas. Why? Because these brahmanas are very dear to him. Right? These brahmanas, we also say, Namo Brahmane Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya. Go Brahmana Hitaya. Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namah. Just see. Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namah. Namo Brahmane Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. Krishna is the protector of the cows. He is also the protector of the brahmanas. Please understand. Very, very important. Right? So that's why these three are very important in when it comes to the creation. The Vedas, Yagnas, and the Brahmanas, and Brahmaji is seeking the blessings so that he can create all these three in such a way that there are no shortcomings. And even if there are shortcomings, oh my Lord, in my creation, you please take care of that. Please excuse me. That is the mood of Brahmaji. So Brahmaji is the first engineer and he successfully created this whole world just by chanting the holy name. Om Tat Sat, the Vedic hymns. Getting the point? So this is very important. So, Hina Mataji, unmute yourself. Let's chant the next verse. The next verse is verse number 24. Adeshakale yaddanam.
Adeshakale yaddanam.
No, I think there is a mistake here. I'm sorry, really sorry. This is not the 24th verse. Let me check one second. There was a mistake here. The 24th is missing. So let me chant it myself. The 24th verse. And next verse you can chant, Mataji. So let me chant
Okay.
because that is somehow missed out. So let me chant the 17th verse. So 17th verse is, the 24th verse is very important. So 24th verse is तस्मात् ओमिति उदाहृत्य यज्ञदानतपक्रियः प्रवर्तन्ते विधानोक्तः सततं ब्रह्मवादिनाम्. What does that mean? So, therefore, transcendentalists undertaking performances of sacrifice, charity, and penance in accordance with scriptural regulation begin always with Om to attain the supreme. So, transcendentalists undertaking the performances of Yagna Dana Tapa with scriptural regulations begin with Om. So, what is the meaning of this? Let us understand. It's very important. Okay. So, 24th verse is talking about the uh, most important thing, and that is Omkara. It is actually talking about Om. How people start chanting with Om. This verse is talk about Om, Tasmat, therefore. Now, since Brahmaji chanted, others should also follow. What is that? Om. The Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Surya. This is a Vedic hymn. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam means what? The lotus feet of Vishnu are the supreme devotional platform. So anything that we do, oh my Lord, I will offer it to your lotus feet. I will offer it to your lotus feet. Everything is very important. Lotus feet is very beautiful. We can have a wonderful session only on the lotus feet of Krishna. Lotus feet, so many descriptions great acharyas have given about the lotus feet. We have to serve the lotus feet. We have to just be the dust particle on the lotus feet of Krishna. It is so important. Lotus feet is glorified so much. It is so much glorified that Krishna himself, as Vatapatra Sai, as a small baby floating in the waters of devastation, he is lying down on a small leaf. And then what is he doing there? Vatapatra Sai, what is he doing? Anyone knows? You have seen that image,
Yeah,
right? The picture.
Yeah, Prabhuji, he puts his toe in his mouth, toe thumb.
He's putting his toe. Why is he doing that? Because all these great acharyas, sages, great rishis have glorified the toe so much that Krishna also wants to know what is the taste in my own toe. So he sucks his own toe. So beautiful that is. Just see. Lotus feet is very special. Recently, Lakshmi Mataji also, she offered very nice ankle bells, anklets to Krishna in Vaikuntha Hill. So very nicely. And the Pujari was so happy and he's already put them to lotus feet of Krishna. Nice ankles. So it's a devotional act. We have to offer everything to the lotus feet of Krishna. So Krishna is talking about, the Brahmavadinas. Now, those who have dedicated their life for the Vedas, they're called Brahmavadinas. A Brahmachari, one who follows the words of the Vedas, is called Brahmachari. Right? So Brahmavadinas are the one they chant the holy names while performing Yajna Dana Tapa. So this verse is talking about the importance of chanting Om. So now let us go to the verse number 25. Verse number Correct. Now, Veena Mataji, you can unmute yourself. We can chant this verse number 25. Tad iti anibhisandhaya.
Prabhuji, I can't see the verse.
You cannot see, right? One second. Just hold on. Let me. Yeah. Now you can see. Yes. Tad iti anabhisandhaya.
Tad iti anabhisandhaya.
Phalam yagna tapakriya.
Phalam yagna tapakriya.
Dana kriyascha vividha.
Dana kriyascha vividha.
Kriyante moksha kankshibhi.
Kriyante moksha kankshibhihi.
Wonderful. Please read the translation.
Without desiring fruitive results, one should perform various kinds of sacrifice, penance, and charity with the word tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from material entanglement. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So Krishna is now talking about the word Tat. So Om Tat Sat, right? So Tat is being explained in this verse number 25. Now, who are those people who are going to chant this word Tat? Those who are moksha bihi, those who are desiring to get liberated, moksha bihi. They pray and completely surrender their actions to God. Yagna, dana, tapa, everything that they do, it is because they want to please the Lord. They acknowledge that the ability and the resources are coming from God, hence I am going to give back to God. All the karma phala that I am going to get after performing certain activity is also be to offer to the Lord. So when such a person, when he acknowledges that the strength and resources are actually coming from the Lord and the karma phala also belongs to God, he is actually becoming free from rebirth. There is no punarjanma to such a person who offers everything to the Lord. What a great secret it is. See, we're all talking about punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, right? We are constantly stuck up in this cycle of birth and death. And here there is a secret revealed that if you are chanting Om Tat Sat with the mood and attitude that yes, everything belongs to God, whatever talents I have possessed, that also belongs to God, then you are actually getting rid of birth and death cycle. Karta and Bhokta is God. If you think that you are the karta, you are the bhokta, then you have to again and again come because you have to you have to enjoy the actions of your own results. Why we are taking birth again? Because we have desires to enjoy our actions. If you thinking, oh, I did this action, I did that action, then there is a karma phala. Because you are thinking that you have done this karma, then you also have to either enjoy or suffer of your own actions for your own actions. So you have to come again and again into this material world. But see the secret now. Krishna is telling, Hare Baba, why to take all this risk? You put everything on God. Tell him that he only has given everything. All abilities, strength, resources, everything belongs to God. Karma phala also belongs to God. Then you are free. Right? And free and freedom is so wonderful that you are actually going to go to God. Such a wonderful thing it is. So since God is the karta and God is one and alone who is actually the bhokta also, so you are going to get liberated. Simple formula to get rid of birth death cycle. Everything is belonging to God. Karma phala also. So don't actually take advantage of all the karma phala that we get. No, it should be offered back to the Lord. Everything that we get, right? Very interesting concept it is. So let's chant the next two verses. So Dave, you can unmute yourself. Let's chant the next two verses. 26 and 27. Yeah, together we will chant. Sadbhave sadhu bhave cha
सद्भावे साधुभावे च
Sat etat prayujyate
सद् इति एतत् प्रयुज्यते
प्रशस्ते कर्मणि तथा
प्रशस्ते कर्मणि तथा
सच्छब्दः पार्थयुज्यते
सच्छब्दः पार्थयुज्यते
Verse number 27. Yagne tapasi dane cha
यज्ञे तपसि दाने च
iti sat iti choyate
स्थितिः सद् इति चोच्यते
karma chaiva tadartiyam
कर्म चैव तदर्थीयम्
tat ityeva vidhiyate.
सद् इति एवाभिधीयते.
Please read the translation. It is 26 and 27 actually.
Yeah. The absolute truth is the objective of devotional sacrifice, and it is indicated by the word Sat. The performer of such sacrifice is also called Sat, as are all works of sacrifice, penance and charity, which, true to the absolute nature, are performed to please the Supreme Person, O Son of Pritha. Hare Krishna.
So this is one more very important and interesting verse here. Krishna is talking about. So 26, 27 is talking about the importance of chanting Sat Om Tat Sat. Sat means what? Truth. Now, truth, it is absolute truth, and there are multiple meanings to it. Actually, Krishna is talking about Sat Bhave. Sat means truth. Sat Bhave means that which exists. Sat Chit Ananda, we say, right? Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means what? That which eternally exists. Eternity is also referred to as Sat. So that which always exists, that is also called Sat Bhave. Sat. Okay. Sadhu Bhave means what? Any good activity is also called sat. Now there are some, oh, somebody does any nice actions, very noble action, and then in the olden days people used to say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. They used to call. Why they called sadhu, sadhu? Sadhu also in one sadhu bhave means what? That activity is sat. It is a very noble activity. So noble actions are also called sat. Prashasti karmani. Prashasti karmani means all auspicious action. Prashasti karmani. All the karma which is very, very auspicious is called prashasti karmani. Then sthiti. Someone who does this dana yagna tapa with steadfastness, then that is called sthiti. So steadfastness is also very important. Is also in one turn, one sense referred to as sat, steadfastness. Yagna dana tapa, you do it with very lot of stability. With stability we perform this. So that's why it's called yagna dana tapa. Okay, with steadfastness, and then of course actions are performed, the karma is performed for the pleasure of God. So acting in Krishna consciousness is called sattva. That's why satsanga, performing any actions in satsanga is also sat. So one who is fully conscious of the activities of Krishna, that is Krishna consciousness, is called a sadhu. A sadhu is one who completely understands that all the actions are actually performed by Krishna. It's Krishna consciousness. So the whole purpose of this chapter is to understand that there are different types of faiths, right? Different types of faiths, but that faith ultimately has to be deposited or diverted or indicated or directed towards Krishna. Very, very important. That is the purpose of chanting these holy names also. Many people, what happens, they have a lot of big things to do. They say and talk about big things, but they don't actually recognize the presence of the Lord. They deny the presence of the Lord. And that's why success don't come to people like that. We need to understand success comes when we have the blessings of the Lord. You know all the story of the Titanic? Now, how when Titanic was built, the captain, before the voyage began, he announced to the world, this ship is so wonderfully built that even God cannot sink the ship. That was the attitude of that person. And on the very first voyage, you know what happened? It sank. So the thing is, we can create very big things, but when we don't have the blessings of the God, then we will be doomed. So Brahmaji is not simply creating a small Titanic. He created the universe. It's not an ordinary task. But he knows that I cannot do it alone. So that's why he sought the blessings of Krishna. But we people, materialistic people, we build one small Titanic and we think that, okay, I can do it all alone. I don't need God. And then we are doomed, right? So we should always be very focused on seeking the blessings of the Lord. Only when there is effort plus prayer, then we are successful. Effort plus prayer is equal to success. Success cannot come simply by our own efforts. This is the whole thing actually. This whole section of the Bhagavad Gita in this chapter, it's about not just your effort alone. Your sadhana, dana, tapa, yagna, I'm doing. Oh, yes, individual sadhana, dana, tapa is good. But you also need prayers. Then you will be successful. Very, very important. Otherwise, what we will be doomed. That's why there is a nice shloka, right? Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate grim yat kripatam aham mande paramananda madhavam. So what does that mean? I pray, it's very difficult for us actually. Oh my Lord, oh Supreme Lord, oh Madhava, it is only by your mercy a dumb man, of one who is dumb, can speak very eloquently. Very, very eloquent. Mukam karoti vachalam. Even the mukha can speak very big, big things, very nice things. And pangum lingaya digrim means what? Even a lame person will be able to jump big, big mountains if you have the blessings of the Lord. Very, very special. Right? How many of you have heard about Arunima Sinha? Anyone has heard about Arunima Sinha? Anyone knows about Arunima Sinha?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. She went to the Himalayas and then her leg was cut. She had an
Mount
operation.
Everest,
I mean, she fell
right?
down. Yeah, Mount Everest. Yeah. Then
I
she
just want
climbed
to
again after.
just see. I just want to give you such a wonderful example. Actually, you see, it was in 2011. This Arunima Simha, I think she was a national volleyball player, and she was quite young, and then she was traveling into a train, I think from uh, Kanpur or Lucknow to somewhere. She was going to another place, and then in the train, I think she was in the general compartment, and there was a ruckus created by some 4 or 5 gundas there, and no one there in the general compartment could dare to actually even fight these people when they were actually assaulting her, and then she herself stood for herself, and then she started fighting with these gundas, and they became wild, and they actually threw her outside the running train. And believe it or not, when she was thrown outside, there was a train from the opposite side, and that train hit this lady, and she fell down on the tracks. That's it. Now it was such a terrible situation for her. She is lying on the tracks there, and she realized later that her leg is gone, cut. One leg is gone. And all the bones are broken. She is unable to move. She's almost falling unconscious. And in that state, night, there is no one in the middle of the night. There is no one to help her. She's somewhere deep in some village. She is crying out, shouting, yelling for help, but there is no one. And there are so many other uninvited guests she talks about. Actually, she says that rats were coming and eating up her flesh, which was all open. And then only after 7 hours, early morning, some farmers there, they saw her critical condition. They immediately rushed her to the hospital, and they saw that it's a small village, not very well equipped hospitals are there. And somehow they took her there in that terrible situation. And Arunima was almost unconscious. And then in that condition, the doctors wanted blood, a lot of blood. And she was just holding on tight. Somehow she had that faith that, okay, be alive. And some one or two doctors there, they gave her own their own blood to Arunima, and the news spread, and then it reached the national sports ministry. The sports minister, immediately they got to know that, oh, this is Arunima, national player, and she was immediately shifted to Delhi for a treatment in a very good hospital, and then she was getting treated there. And so much of suffering, what kind of suffering. As a player, she had to undergo, her leg had to be amputated. One leg is gone. And then the parents have to face so much of problems. She is there, all helpless now. So much of money and other things have to be involved. She's coming from a middle class family, but she had a hope that, okay, I'll do something. People were talking negative. After 3, 4 months of treatment in the hospital, then people started talking, oh, she was depressed. That's why she wanted to commit suicide. That's why she jumped out of the, train, running train. All sorts of nonsense things were going on. But she did not lose hope. She had that faith that, yes, I will be protected by the Lord. I will do something great. I will not let myself be bogged down by these people. I want to do something great. And then she had a desire that I want to climb the mountain. I want to do mountaineering. And then she somehow got this desire. She wanted to do something great. And then she's now telling people, and people are laughing, and they're saying, "How can you even do? You don't have proper, leg now. Your spine is broken. uh, all these things with all this difficulty, physical inabilities, you cannot think of mountaineering. Just forget it." People were discouraging her like that. But then what happened? Slowly, gradually, somehow she was very, very convinced that, yes, Lord will protect and I will do this. I have to do this. Then she got in touch with a lady who supported her and said, okay, you do it. You have that conviction. You want to do it. Okay, do it. But you have to prove. I'll support you, but you need to prove. She started practicing mountaineering. She somehow, with a lot of effort, when people had to reach one base camp in 2 minutes, she used to take almost 3 hours to reach a base camp, and it was very difficult for her. And after a lot of practice, and then she goes on to become that, yes, I want to climb up. And then she's climbing up the Everest with the Sherpa, and no Sherpa. There is a Sherpa who associate who goes along with the climber. He says, I cannot go. She cannot do this. It is impossible with this kind of a condition. She cannot do it. But she was determined, and somehow she convinced, I will do it. Don't worry, you please come with me. Just be there along with me. And then, that height, she had to carry all the oxygen, and her one leg, she has an artificial leg. And in that artificial leg, she's climbing up. And when she's putting her leg there in the snow, you can imagine that, the leg is actually, the artificial limb is coming out. And she had to somehow wrap it around again, climb up. And as she's climbing up, there are so many dead bodies around. People are about to die. She's looking at all these people. She talks about this. She says that one Bangladeshi fellow was there who was about to die, just breathing, barely breathing, because no oxygen. She's looking all these dead bodies around her who actually attempted to climb Mount Everest. Now you can imagine the situation, a person in that state, with no proper leg climbing up. She could have just been so discouraged and so fearful, actually, looking at all these situations. But somehow she did not lose hope. She was climbing up all the time. The Sherpa is saying no oxygen. Finally, she reached a camp, which is just a base camp, which is just one step below the Mount Everest now. And then the Sherpa says, it's impossible for you to, you leave it now. You have reached this point, no problem. Just leave it. Forget it. You don't go because oxygen is less, you may not come back alone. She said, don't worry, you come. We will go. I have come to this stage now. I've been sponsored with so much. I will not get this chance again. So let me die, no problem, but I will climb up. I don't want to go back without achieving that spot. And then just matter of 1.5 hours, 2 hours from that point, she climbs up to the peak. And then she writes and thanks the Lord for being there, you know, for reaching on top of the world. She thinks like that and then thanks the Lord. Okay, my Lord, it's all because of you. And then she takes some photographs and videos. The Sherpa is laughing at her. Okay, you somehow made it. Now come down. But going down is not so easy because oxygen is less. You have to come down immediately. And her oxygen actually fell short. She was almost about to give up breath. And believe it or not, just close by, there was another American mountaineer, a climber. He had an extra uh, oxygen. He just threw it and went away because she could not carry the load. And there is no point in carrying this. So he just left one oxygen cylinder there. Can you imagine at the top of the mountain, the Sherpa quickly goes, gets this oxygen cylinder, gives it to her. He says to her that, okay, this is so wonderful that on the top of this mountain, you got the oxygen cylinder, and then goes down. She goes down, and now while going down, she is terrible, so much of pain. There is a clotting that happens, it becomes red. Her body with a lot of, she has just come out of the hospital. Her body, all the clots were all becoming red. Red turns to blue, blue turns to black. Black means it's very dangerous. Almost turned black. with that freezing cold, minus 60 degrees. She had to go there all the top. Oh my God, what terrible situation. But then she made it by the blessings of the Lord. So, the point I'm saying is when you have the blessings of the Lord, Pangum Langayati Girim, you can actually, a lame person also can actually jump over big, big mountains. So, she actually tells that many people don't want to do something because they just give excuses. It's not about life and death for them, but still they give excuses. So I think most of the time achievement luck also comes, and the Lord also helps those actually who help themselves. Krishna says, right, you do your karma, don't become lazy fellow, don't simply perform a karma. Oh, I'll become inaction. No inaction. You have to perform your action. Results Krishna will give. Karmanyevadikaraste mahafaleshu kadachana. Right? You perform your action, result I will give. So most people get stuck with the results and they don't want to. Even a small obstacle in their path, in a spiritual path, they give up. So that is weakness. So if a person to climb on Mount Everest, if she can be so determined, how determined we have to be to go out of this material world and be with Krishna? Are we not supposed to be determined? So this is a very serious thing that we have to take up. Krishna consciousness, one single human form of life that we have got, we should not waste it now. People are taking courage to climb up a mountain. Why should not we take courage and determination to follow the instructions of Guru, Prabhupada, and then go to the spiritual world? We should have faith. George Washington, he said, I pray everything. I pray as if everything depends on God, and I work as if everything depends on me. Right? I pray as if everything depends on God. So you have to pray to God. Everything depends on Him. But when I work as if it depends on me. So you do your karma properly. Take responsibilities for your actions. But when people achieve success, they become so arrogant sometimes. So our success should not increase our ego. So this should be attitude, very important, right? So in a critical situation where Arjuna also had lost a very hope, Krishna is instructing him about this very important thing, right? So let us chant the next verse. So Divik, you unmute yourself. Let's chant the next verse.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Just hold on. Yeah, verse number 28. Ashraddhaya hutam dattam
अश्रद्धया हुतं दप्तं
tapastaptam kritam च यत्
तपस्तप्तं कृतं च यत्
असद् इत्युच्यते पार्थ
असद्दित्युच्यते पार्थ
न च तत्प्रेत्य नो इह.
न च तत्प्रेत्य नो इह.
Wonderful. Please read the translation.
And
Actually,
charity performed.
not charity. Sorry. There is a mistake here. Actually, yesterday I had no much time to update, so I could not fully update while doing it. There was some distraction I was in. So let me read the translation myself. I will read it myself. So this is a very important verse. Ashraddaya hutam dattam tapas taptam kritam jayat asat it uchyate pata nachatat pretya no iha. Anything done as sacrifice, charity, or penance without faith in the Supreme, O son of Pritha, is impermanent. It is called Asat and is useless both in this life and the next. So, Krishna is talking about the importance of faith here now. So, what is that? Krishna is talking Ashraddhaya, Hutam. So, please understand that without Shraddha, everything is useless. Anything done without faith is useless. Yagna, dana, tapa, without Shraddha is total waste of time and energy, and it yields no success. The basis and the foundation for any action that you do, it should be faith, Shraddha. Ashraddha means no Shraddha. So in the conditional state, People are attracted to worshipping demigods, ghosts, yakshas, danavas, kuvera, everything they worship in the conditioned state because they have different desires. But one who is sattvic in nature, he is better than person who is rajasic, and a rajasic person is better than who is tamasic. But one who actually takes up to Krishna consciousness, he actually transcends this sattva, rajas, and tamas. So there is a gradual process, there is a direct process. So Krishna's devotees, pure devotees, they go through the direct process. Prabhupada has given us a direct process, no gradual process. Kali Yuga, there is no gradual process, direct process. So, what is the direct process? With Shraddha, offer everything to Krishna. That is very simple. You should have Shraddha, and then with Shraddha, you do Dana, Tapa, Yajna. Then you will be successful. This is a secret formula. Secret formula for success. Kayena vacha manasendriyeva buddhyatma va prakrte swabhavat karomi yadvat sakalam parasmai narayanastheti samarpayami. What does that mean? Kayena vacha manasendriyeva. Whatever I do through this body, speech, mind, sensory organs, either with my personal knowledge or by natural trait, whatever it might be, I surrender everything to Narayana. Narayana yeti samarpayami. To the Supreme Lord Narayana. That should be our Lord. That should be our mood and attitude. Om Tat Sat. Good. This should not be taken lightly. We all commit mistakes. But committing mistakes and then in the evening going and Om Tat Sat, Om Tat Sat. People are like that. Many people, I'll commit wrong mistakes, everything I'll do, whatever nonsense I want to do, I'll do it. And then in the evening, okay, I'll say Om Tat Sat and everything will be gone. No, that kind of thing is not there. I should chant Om Tat Sat with full faith that yes, I will progress in spiritual life and I will chant the holy name and I'll become successful. Life is very simple. We complicate. Correct. So let us have this mood of Shraddha and keep following things what Krishna is talking in the Bhagavad Gita. And you will see such a wonderful chapter we have discussed actually. It's all very important for sadhaka. Sadhana is very important. So just practice, understand these basic principles, and we'll be very, very happy. Okay? So any questions, any doubts? So now we have completed 17 chapters. And next session, we are going to begin the new chapter and the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita. That is chapter number 18. Very important chapter. So many wonderful things Krishna is going to explain. And I think in the upcoming week or so, we will try to have multiple sessions. That's my plan now. We will try to finish the chapter number 18 quickly. In a week, maybe we may have 2 or 3 sessions. Whenever I get a little distinct so time on weekends, we can try to have at least 2 or 3 sessions, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday, however it is. So we'll try to have multiple sessions on weekends, Friday, Saturday. I mean, a single session in a day, but maybe multiple sessions in a week. So that way we can complete the chapter 18. Because now I'm here in Hubli and there's no much of management work. So I thought we can have multiple sessions and try to finish. Although there are some travel programs, but I think we can finish off chapter 18 little quickly now. Okay, so that's the plan. Any questions?
Prabhuji,
Yes.
yeah, Prabhuji, you mentioned that the doer and the enjoyer is Krishna. So
Mhm.
when we were not aware, let's say now we are aware of this fact, but when we were not aware, so the good, the bad, whatever we have done, we cannot say that at that time we did not have that awareness. So the so that means that belongs to us now, na, right?
Huh. So
The
since
karma
we
phala,
were
you were saying the karma phala, right? Give it to Krishna.
correct. So whatever we do, there's a karma phala, there's a reaction. When I think that it is for my pleasure, I did it, then the reaction has to be enjoyed by me, enjoy or suffer by me. But then now we have become aware that Krishna is the enjoyer, he's the karta and he's the bhokta. So now what we are doing, even when we are cooking, we are offering whatever little money we are getting, we will in some way or the other try to do some seva, either go seva or take seva to the temple. We are doing in our own capacity. We are doing right. So with this, what is happening now? We have become aware. So now the question is, what will happen to those actions that we have performed, right? So that's why Krishna is saying in the 18th chapter, Sarva Dharman Paritajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayashyami Ma Suja. So yes, in the past, so much of baggage is there of karma phala, karma, all that baggage we are carrying, and that is sitting on our consciousness. But what Krishna is promising, now you surrender unto me completely. I will take care of that past. That's a promise. So we don't have to worry about the baggage. Past baggage is gone, but now we have become aware. So because with this awareness, Krishna can burn off all our karma phala, all the past activities in flash. It's no big deal for him. But he is just waiting for our surrenderance. Am I really wanting to be with Krishna? That is, am I eager to meet Krishna? That eagerness is what Krishna is saying. For him to destroy all our papa is not a big deal. He can do that in a moment, right? So he's waiting for our love, affection, and to be. He's more eager. Actually, I keep telling this. He's more eager to be with us than we. So that's why we have to take this step. That oh Krishna, I want to surrender unto you. And when we surrender, mokshaishyami mahasujaha, all sarva papebhyo, everything that you have done in the past will be gone, burnt off. You will become so light after that. But the point is surrenderance. Am I surrendering to Krishna?
Thank you,
This is
Prabhuji.
right. Yes. Anything else? Any questions?
Prabhuji, yesterday Vinod went to the Ranganath Swami temple in Trichy.
Acha, he's in South India now.
Yeah, he's traveling. In fact, now he's returning back. So yesterday
Okay.
he had gone for some work with his friend. So he got
Yes.
the opportunity to go to Ranganath Swami temple. So I said he was very fortunate. Although there was a
Yeah.
very long queue, he had to
Hmm.
wait for some 3 hours or something. He's saying it's
Oh,
the queue is very much like Balaji only.
yes, yes. Tirupati
But
Balaji. Oh,
he
quite.
said it was wonderful.
So he was in Srirangam.
Yeah, Tiruchirappalli, Trichy, right? So he had gone towards that side. So when the return flight was from Trichy, so they
Oh,
came back to Trichy 1 day before and they made sure to go to the temple.
wonderful. That's very nice. So he had a special blessing there.
Yes.
Yeah, he was actually talking about the Nataraj idol that he wanted to get home. He said it is quite a big
Yeah,
one.
so he had gone for that. Actually, he had gone for some work with his friend. His friend is into all these kind of idol making and stuff like that. But
Ah,
he was checking with you, was it? Whether we can
yes,
place it. I told him
yes,
we cannot place anything outside the home.
yes. It should be
I
inside the home in Ishan direction. If he wants to keep Nataraj, it should be on the northeast direction. And the DT should not be more than 2 feet. 1 feet is idle, but anything bigger than 2 feet will be very difficult. It's a brass idol, so you can keep it, but you can keep it in the northeast direction because that is the northeast direction is the direction of Lord Shiva, Nataraja.
okay,
Hmm.
okay, Prabhuji.
So have a small DT that will be better.
So Prabhuji,
Good.
when are you coming to Bombay?
Bombay, April. I was thinking April, maybe mid of April or third week of April. That is the
Okay.
plan. Let us
So
see.
we can, whoever, all of us who are in Bombay in and around, we can meet at
Yes,
our
yes,
home. Yeah.
yes, definitely we can meet. We can. I was telling that we can have a series of Ramayana. We
Yes.
can discuss on Ramayana, and we can invite people, whoever we want, friends, relatives, anyone who wants to join, because that will be a very common thing, and we can discuss Ramayana. Maybe Sundarkand. That will be very special because people connect with Sundarkand.
Yes,
So
Prabhuji.
we can in detail discuss and have nice kirtan and prasadam. So we can do that.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, sure.
Okay.
Achyutanji can also come in. All the kids, Dishna and Party can come in. And
Yes.
we can then call others also.
Yes. Yes. It'll be nice. It'll be good.
Sure, Mother, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have one more get together before the next trip then.
Yes, yes, sure, Professor.
Good. So we'll see you again next Sunday, and if there is anything change, I will let you know. We will have the chapter 18 starting from the next session. Please take care.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Lakshmi Mataji has a question. She said they also say we have to keep Mother Parvati with him. Ah, okay. It's talking. She's talking about Nataraja. So maybe she has another input here. So to keep Mother Parvati also. Uh, I don't. I'm not sure if there is Shiva alone. Parvati will be there, but Nataraja, since he's in dancing mode, we have not seen Parvati when Nataraja is dancing. So I need to check that. Nat, Nataraja, if he's at home in the northeast direction when he's dancing, I'm not sure if Parvati also has to be there. I'll cross check that. Maybe there is a point to it. I'll cross check and let you know.
Okay,
Take care.
thank you.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.